Ilmberger Carbon Special is back again with over 400 horsepower of Bavarian force. Not on an example how we would like to compare the older with the new M model, as you might probably think. No, it's not the case.
No, as you mentioned already, we have of course the new M here, but as you can see, this is not the M, but this is the S, the new one.
Exactly, this is the S. We start with the front fairing, and the front fairing, as usual, as you know, is much more wider than the normal one, than the original one. So we just kept it like this, just to have a little bit more slipstream when you're just sitting behind the bike. And this one just got a little facelift, but you will really see when you're just looking in details. So a major part what was really basically changed was the side fairings on the left and the right side. You see there's a much wider opening, so the airstream can just go out better, and so you have a better cooling on the cooler, and so the engine will also be cooled as well. So the winglets here on both sides, and if you're probably looking now really close, then you probably might that these winglets are this one from the M, but it's not the case because we had also a little facelift on those ones, and so we just changed them a little bit. The main reason why we changed them is that now if you just fix them on the side fairings, it's much more easier because no screws went through, so you don't need any tools for it, so it's really working easily, not like before. In the front you see that both side fairings are combined with the lip. It's the new lip of the S model, and this lip is fixed on just one screw on the right side here. And what the really nice cue is when you just pull off the two screws on the back side, and you put these one on the front fairing in the front here, and those ones which are assembled with the belly pan, you just can take off the whole fairing at once. So these three pieces are taken off at once, and you have accessibility to every single part if you need to fix something in the case of electronics or whatever. We have the tank front cover, which stood the same compared to the former model. We have the rear fender, what also stood the same, and also like includes the prolongation of the chain one above, in terms of when you just like cleaned the chain and you put all new oil, and you know this oil gets like slummy and it's just all over on your suit. This rear we improved some aerodynamics on it, so you see this mouse, we have a little inlay which covers the mouse. This inlay is exactly that size where the mouse fits in perfectly, so you have also better aerodynamics where you go over here, and it's also a sort of protection in case the motorcycle gets like, you know, it's tumbling or you have a crash or something else. So this is a really major changement. It's a really beautiful part, and I think we really did something great of it, yeah? And now Julius will explain you the new cases, what happened on the M model.
As you can see, the M is a complete new bike, has nothing to do with the old one. And as probably some of you might know, Ilmberger Carbon is the official supplier for the World Superbike and the Endurance World Championship fairings. And from these, I would say, master classes in motorsport, of course, also this fairing has been benefited. So what we can see is a lot of new things. The complete fairing is completely new. It is wider, a lot wider, it's higher. And if you go behind this fairing, you really have the feeling like you go in a slipstream. This is crazy how much this fairing takes the wind off your body, brings the wind over your body, so now the wind, the aerodynamic, is your friend on the bike. Another really big improvement is in the front, this shield. Now we have here really a good view, a good place for a starting number. You know, this was always a little bit a pain, a difficult on the BMW S and M. Now it's a good place, so all regulations in a national or international race class can be fulfilled. A little bit more on the lower side of the bike, we can see the new winglets. Those are massively increased in size. So now the downforce is over 22 kilograms at 300 kilometers per hour. This should be around 40 pounds at 190, 200 miles per hour, if the calculation is right. And due to the new shape, this helps that the downforce not only works on the straight, but really helps and gives you a better feeling also in mid-corner. This is really a big improvement in the rideability of the bike. A little bit more on the lower side, we can now find the new front fender. This one, or a similar one to this one, was also used by the Tecma's stock team at the famous 24 Hours of Le Mans. and there they could really win the race. And I think this front fender cooling the brakes helped them on this really long race. Even more down you can find the wheel cover, but also for the wheel cover we made a separate video how they work, and here you can see them a little bit in color on the bike and how they bring the air to the cooler. Behind this big front fairing we have of course also a big side fairing. This is even wider than the old one, and as you might know, the frame was always pointing out a little bit here, and now if you see, it's really on the inside, so you can see how much wider the fairing is. This helps of course the air from the cooler, from the water cooler, and down here also from the oil cooler to get out the bike and to really cool the bike even more down, which helps you especially on hot days and on long races. Below the side fairing you can see also the belly pan. This is also a complete new development. As you can see, it's on the lower side, it's really small. This helps you if you have in highest lean angles up to 60 degrees and soft springs. Nothing will help, it will never touch the ground, don't worry. But it is big enough to keep all fluids, so if you have a problem with oil, if you have a problem with water, all these things is also needed by regulations in different race classes, national and international. It's always said to have a minimum of 5 liters. We can take even more, so that you will never have any problems with the regulations. And of course, on the lower side, there is a hole inside. You can open it. So if it's raining, just open the hole and you will not carry any rainwater with you. Daniel already mentioned it, the new seat. Of course, it was developed for the M, but I think all important things he mentioned, it's the same seat on the M and on the S. Worth to mention now is everything on this bike is on the aerodynamic and reducing the air drag you have. And with the GPS mouse inside, of course, also on the seat, the aerodynamic was improved. So also here the airflow is even better. So what we can say is we have reduced air drag, we have more downforce, and we have a better cooling of the bike. The M is really at the highest point which is technically possible, and this is really the best a fairing can support a race bike.
So a lot of experience in all the big classes like Endurance World Championship or World Superbike, just went over here to really improve a bike at its best, and I think all this was happened here. It's really worth it, and so this happened very, very well. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Ilmberger Carbon Special with these big bikes for racetracks, and hope to see you soon in the next one. We say hello and goodbye.
See you next time.